The Inquisitor type lightsabers in Star Wars are in fact not stupid, they are functional.
This is the Kitsune clan, a group of sword enthusiasts who like cosplay, reenactment, and historical martial arts. If you have similar interests, feel welcomed.
When Rebels came out and we got the first scenes with the Inquisitors, and they would show for the first time these types of lightsabers with a rotating double blade, and you would have asked me, what do you think of it? I would have said, this is super dumb. And that's what a lot of people think. They think that these lightsabers are ridiculous, stupid, bad, and whatever. And I thought so for quite some time until I started to play around with some of these props. And I had to recognize, guys, these things in fact make sense. Of course, we first have to accept this is a lightsaber. And this is a lightsaber that basically draws from things like Kingdom Hearts Keyblade and Thanos double sword. That's what it is. It's a weird combination of the three, more or less. Also, Thanos double sword can rotate. If you look at my videos about keyblades and about my videos about Thanos double sword, I link all of them in the description box. You will see that I've argued that these two in fact make sense, and now I really have to say also the Inquisitor double lightsaber makes sense. Why? So let's look at it. If we take one of these double lightsabers against a normal lightsaber, we can simply have an incoming attack, and we use one side of the double lightsaber to take in the force, to receive the force. If you have seen the video on Thanos double blade, you know what's now coming. The force of the incoming attack will redirect our blocking blade and move in fact the other blade forward towards the opponent. This is a mechanics that we first explored with the Irish stick. Video is also linked in the description box. And if you think about it, how lightsabers interact with each other, this is even more useful than we can show it here with the props, because as we pointed out, general weakness of the lightsaber props is they don't stick as true lightsabers would. And if you think about it, you go in bind with your lightsaber and the opponent's lightsaber, and now if you have a double lightsaber, you can take the force that the opponent is providing by pushing against your blade. As they're a bit sticky, the blade of the opponent will also not slide down the lightsaber, and you can bring up the other side and cut with that. This really makes sense, more so for a lightsaber than for a blade, because of the stickiness, which gives you still control over the weapon. So this in fact is more functional than Thanos double sword, also because of it's a lightsaber blade, which means we don't have to care for any edge alignment, which makes it very, very simple to attack with the other side. As there are different principles with the Irish stick, how we can redirect the force, we can in fact use all of these with the Inquisitor lightsaber. So we have a full set of techniques that we can employ here, and this really makes sense. Unbelievable. We could even exaggerate that and make it even more ridiculous and take two Inquisitor lightsabers, and that still would make sense. We still could simply take in incoming forces, redirect them, and attack with the other side. Yeah, I hear you. I know what's now coming. What I did here, I was using the double lightsaber in a stationary form. That allowed me to redirect the force and use the mechanics of the Irish stick with this double lightsaber. But what about the rotation function? Yeah, I discussed this already partly with the Thanos double blade. In the Thanos double blade, I made some cutting experiments with this type of hold and this type of rotational strikes. And we could show this will work, and this therefore applies also to the double lightsaber. I unfortunately have no motorized form of this, and I can only show here with some of the toys that can really spin at least a bit what is happening when you spin it. And if you are used to German longsword fencing with thumb hold, and that's what I suggested to use with Thanos sword and also with the keyblade, more details on thumb hold are linked also in the description box, then these cuts totally really make sense, and they are not as awkward as people think, and they are really, really functional. We even experimented with the fact what's happening if the lightsaber of the opponent pushes my lightsaber off in the joint instead of turning my hand, really turning along this ring, and it still makes sense. It still protects us and attacks the opponent at the same time. I agree. This is very different from what people expect lightsaber uses. And I also have to say, if we look at the scenes in the different Star Wars adaptations of this weapon, nobody is using the double lightsaber like an Irish stick or like a Thanos double sword. It still means the weapon itself is not as bad as I originally thought. It mostly means that the way that they are using it in the series is not very useful, let's say the best like that. I can see one of the weaknesses, and I also don't get why it has this weakness. We see at the end of season 1 in Rebels that the Inquisitor lightsabers can be cut into pieces. If we think of the lightsaber of the Emperor or the lightsaber of Dooku, then we know, hey, we can design lightsabers out of frick or of other material. The darksaber is made out of Beskar, so we can build lightsaber hilts out of lightsaber-proof material, and that would definitely make sense also for the Inquisitor lightsabers. And yes, this material is maybe a bit rarer, but come on, the energy lenses that Grievous guards were using seem also to have been made out of frick, so there should have been enough material left over after Republic fell that we could have been reused to make the handles for the Inquisitors out of this type of material. I really always thought the Inquisitor lightsabers are super stupid, are not very functional, and I still don't get how you could helicopter fly with them. No chance. But from a lightsaber fencing view, and given the properties that a lightsaber should have, these weapons would make sense in the sense of you carry something around that is in fact more effective than a normal type of lightsaber. Even Darth Maul's later strange double lightsaber with the short grip would make sense in this way, more so in fact than his old double lightsaber with the long grip, because there you can not apply Irish stick fighting because the distance between the two blades is too large and the lever is then very, very different. So please, you can attack me for liking the Inquisitor lightsabers, but it's really just a mechanical observation. These things make sense if you use them in the here suggested way, and within the argumentation in universe, they definitely do more than just intimidate. They are functional weapons that could indeed counter the lack of experience of the Inquisitors, but it simply means the Inquisitor lightsabers are not as bad as many people think. I hope this could inspire you, and I hope to see you around next time.